Whenever the topic of any barriers related to human experience are concerned, you will find that the only group of people who have not been taught how to resolve the problem have been colored people. And the sad nature of this is that due to the inability to solve the problem, there has now been an issue where there is no way to deal with the present circumstances that are faced and that constantly seem to impact the lives of many underrepresented and colored people, particularly within the Western world. One thing that you will never learn is that in life there will never be progress without change, without a change of attitude, without a change of approach, and for everybody it's going to be different, right? As much as the Western world likes to generalize every black person to one particular image, the truth is, and it's the irony of the situation, we are the most diverse people on this planet. We have the most diverse culture. We have the most diverse foods. We have the most diverse languages. And once you grow to realize this, you will stop tolerating the low, twisted image that the Western world has painted for colored people. And from that, you will develop a sense of firm identity and true honor in the heritage that you can call your own as a colored person. And part of the way of going about this problem is there has to be a understanding as to what works for you, not what works for them, not what works for the system, not what works for the justice, because they have failed in every way possible to accommodate for this matter, and to actually bring about an effective resolution that does not cause the community as a whole to decline simply because their lust for conquer and their quest for dominance has created such an emotional impact within the lives of black families and black communities all around the Western Hemisphere and perhaps around the world. So rather than being so friendly, rather than smiling it off, it is of my firm belief through experience and through people who have actually come to me to help resolve the matter that people of color need to develop a more powerful way of approaching some of the circumstances that have made us as a collective void from being able to have a life according to our terms within the Western Hemisphere. And rather than, like I said, smiling it off, the issue needs to be pressed straight up. It needs to be pressed straight to your boss. It needs to be pressed straight to your teacher. And they must know, for the benefit of not only yourself, but for every other colored person who has a life here for as long as they have it, that they are entitled to use the voice that has been given to them to voice across what exactly has happened and what in particular will be the consequences should the Western world remain to perceive the ignorance of their own actions towards colored people, and by understanding this approach, there will be a turnaround and a shift, should I say, a transformation, where you will find that more colored people will feel comfortable speaking about their experiences and pointing the Western world out for their hypocrisy and for their immoral judgments towards colored people and generalizing every colored person to the stereotype of an athlete, to the stereotype of a musician, when colored people are the most diverse, as I mentioned, group and ethnicity. The Western world, which has no other culture beyond racism, is in no way possible to compare their cultural impact towards the system than the colored people have. And you will know this through statistics that the colored people have actually contributed more, their culture has contributed more to the entertainment, to the music, to the arts, to the crafts, and to the history and to the foundation of the Western world than the racist culture that many of them choose to adopt has ever grown to articulate. So let us actually understand that this is not our position to tolerate any sort of racial bigotry, nasty behavior, and that it must be squashed on the spot, because this is not our burden to carry. For the longest time, you will find that Black people have been facing such levels of oppression to the point where it's had an emotional impact and a physical impact. And if you know how the world works, there's a tolerance point for every person of color, where they will no longer accept being pushed into the ground when our genes and our genetics have taught us to be leaders, to be well represented people. And the more the Western world continues to alienate colored people, the more you will realize that colored people will find importance within establishing their own cultural roots, withdrawing their economy and their participation from the American society, and actually understanding that the American world, in the grand scheme of things, is corrupt, it's falling, and leave them to fall while we are capable of actually rising above and doing our best to make sure that our society and our culture and our children remain safe from the wickedness, from the alienated doctrine that has been perceived to be justified by people in the Western world for as long as they limit people of culture to a color. And the main reality you will face when going across this method is that you will see that this will instill a sense of guilt, a sense of shame within, should I say, the Western world for their crimes, for their murders against colored people, for their racial abuse, and for their slander, and for their systematic harassment, which has caused many families, communities, historically and even dated with statistics and facts, to drop at the benefit of their monetary gain. So the only way to deal with this situation is to stand up and to regain what it means to have your power placed within your hands, and to have your doctrine and to have your growth established on your own terms, and you leave whatever white America has created to be established accordingly on their terms. And this is the main thing that you will find that will bring a sense of change. And upon bringing this sense of change, there will be no room for tolerating such a wicked scheme, a twisted society which has benefited off hurting other people, and from bringing about the levels of fear within children, and poverty, and cycles of depression. And you will find that these curses, as they were created by whites, should be brought back directly to them.